Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to another YouTube video on the channel. And today guys, here we are for another AFL 2022 3-game match reviews. Yes, here we are again for 3 more action-packed games. I don't know if we've had 3 games as big as these at all this year. This is probably one of the biggest 3-game match reviews that we've done on the channel. So this is a massive one. Hawthorn vs Western Bulldogs, Carlton vs Collingwood, and Kilda vs Sydney were all the 3 games on the Sunday of the final game of the final day of the home and away AFL 2022 season. Top 8 spots were on the line and top 4 spots, and it all came down to this day of footy. So let's go ahead and hop right into things, starting off with Hawthorn vs Western Bulldogs. The Dogs end up triumphing in Sydney to keep their finals hopes alive, is what the Western Bulldogs do. They triumph in Tassie against Hawthorn, against a very shaky Hawthorn outfit, which actually did end up competing for most of this game. Hawthorn 10-4-64, Western Bulldogs 12-15-87. The Dogs are inaccurate. I reckon, personally, should have won the game by more. Should have had it at stages, especially in that third quarter, because that is where like the Hawks were kept in this game. It was a good first quarter. The Hawks actually had the better first quarter. Really exciting, high-scoring second quarter. In the third quarter, it died right down. The scoring died right down. But for the Hawks, they were lucky they kept the Dogs to 1 goal, because the Dogs really should have kicked 7 that quarter. 7 goals. The Dogs should have kicked that quarter. They went from 8 goals 4 at half-time to 9 goals 12 at three-quarter time. They should have been in front by more at three-quarter time. And then again, they just absolutely smashed the Hawks in the last quarter to extend the margin out to 23 points. James Sicily, 33 disposals, 4 goals for Jack Gunston, 151 fantasy for James Sicily, 10 tackles for Adam Treloar. Now to the player stats we go though. 151 fantasy for Sicily, 132 for Dunkley, 131 for Hardwick, 116 for Treloar, 114 for English, 111 for Hunter, 103 for Bontempelli, 99 for Daniel, 4 goals for Gunston, 3 goals for Norton and Rook Smith, 2 goals for Darcy. He got his 2 first career goals back-to-back. Brilliantly done there by Sam Darcy, the youngster. 2 goals for Moore, and McAvoy in his farewell game getting 2 more goals as well. 33 disposals for Sicily, 29 for Dunkley, 26 for Hardwick, 25 for Day, Treloar, McRae, Daniel. Now to the marks we go. 17 for Sicily, showing what a key part to Hawthorn he is. 14 for Hardwick, a really good game for him as well. 10 for Moore, 9 for Dunkley and Hunter. Tackles, 10 for Treloar, 9 for Dunkley, 7 for Mitchell and Bontempelli, 6 for Nash, 28 hitouts for English, 21 for Lynch, and McAvoy, 4 for Bruce, and Norton, 1 for Darcy. Now to the team stats we go though, where this was the point of difference in the game, and this is why I suggest the Dogs really should have won the game by more. And it would have ended up, this stat would have changed in the third quarter, is that the Dogs were all over the Hawks inside the inside 50 count, 39-71 in favour of the Western Bulldogs. That is why they should have won this game by more, hence why they're 12-15 to the Hawks 10-4. The Hawks were not generating any opportunities whatsoever and were lucky to be in this game for longer than they were. Hawthorn also getting smashed around the clearances. That is another stat that matters. The Western Bulldogs, their midfield is jam-packed as well. They've got such a good midfield room. Smith, Bontempelli, McRae, some of them good likes are in there. Marks inside 50, 12-15 in favour of the Western Bulldogs as well. It was a tight contest. I think the Hawks were lucky to be in this one for as long as they were, because the Dogs were all over them and in the end get a comfortable win to the Western Bulldogs. Carlton get knocked out of the finals in unbelievable fashion. The Western Bulldogs take their place as Carlton lose by 1 point to rivals Collingwood, which will put Collingwood in the top 4. And Carlton, after an 8-2 start, really couldn't finish up their good work, and they end up finishing 12-10. If you can believe that. 8-2 after the first 10 rounds, and they only get 4 rounds from round 11 to 23. Crazy stuff. And here they are outside of finals due to percentage. Can you believe that? They lose by 1 point to Collingwood. Carlton 10-14-74 lose to Collingwood 11-9-75. And Carlton, off the back of a very good third quarter, they probably should have won this game. They were goalless at quarter time. The Pies got off to a good start. In the second quarter, Carlton just had moments where they managed to wrangle momentum back. But then in the third quarter, it was all Carlton. They just sent this game. They turned this game around, did Carlton. They kicked 8 goals in that quarter to Collingwood's 1, and they were up by, I think it was about 24 24 points at 3/4 time. But then in the last quarter, as Collingwood have done a lot this year, they've been able to change games in the last quarter. They do exactly that to go ahead and pip the Blues by just one singular point in the end. Ridiculous fashion. Ginnivan back to his good with 3 goals. 35 disposals for Paddy Cripps, 137 fantasy for Doherty, as well as 7 tackles. Sam Walsh, of course, was the layout in this one for Carlton, which would have really hurt them. And 137 fantasy for Doherty, 129 for Chera, 125 for Josh Dacos, 95 for Cripps, 94 for Moore, 92 for Kerner, who had 2 goals 5 in front of the big sticks. 3 goals for Ginnivan again. Kerner, just not his day with 2 goals 5. 2 goals 3 for Mackay, not really his day either. 2 goals for Elliott, Chera, Motlop, and Johnson, the others, with 2 goals. Disposals now. 35 for Cripps, 29 for Doherty, 28 for Dacos, 27 for Chera, 26 for Pendlebury, 25 for Nick Dacos. Now to the marks. 10 for Mackay, 9 for Moore, 8 for Kerner, O'Brien, Noble, Dacos, Josh Dacos. 7 tackles for Chera and Doherty, as well as Josh Dacos. Hit-outs now. 24 for Cox, 19 for Cameron, 17 for Pidnett, 5 for Silvani, 1 for Mackay. Team stats we go now, where Carlton went inside 50, 65 to 44 times in favour of Carlton. But Collingwood, they've been a team that have been very efficient when going inside 50. They don't have to go inside 50 a lot because they look dangerous every single time they go in there. To Collingwood, clearances 46-34 in favour of Carlton, 11-10 in favour of Carlton at centre, and 35-24 in favour of Carlton at stoppage. So they're also all over Collingwood with the clearances as well. So they probably should have won this game for the Carlton. 11-9 marks inside 50, again in favour of Carlton. This was a really good battle for most of the day. It was a really ripping game of footy, this one. Really could have gone either way. In the end, though, Collingwood, they mount a big last quarter comeback to see Carlton choke, and they win to get a double chance. Alright, now to Marvel Stadium we go, where this game again just wrapped up not too long ago, and where St Kilda 11-8, 74 lose to Sydney 13-10, 88. It was a really good game. Sydney now, they've also ensured they'll be getting a top 4 spot. However, it'll have to come as an away qualifying final, but they're still getting a double chance. However, if they had lost, they would have given a double chance to Fremantle, and then they would be playing an elimination final. But luckily enough for the Swans, they'll be playing in a qualifying final. They got the job done, only just though, against a very valid Saints outfit. It was a really good game in the first quarter, really up and down. The Swans ended up leading at quarter time, and then in the second and third quarter, that's just where the foot went on the accelerator, because in the second and third quarter combined, the Saints kicked 4 goals compared to the Swans kicked 7. That's where they got going, was the Swans in that third quarter. In the last quarter, it was pretty much all Saints. They kicked 4 goals to 2, but managed to hold on. The Swans managed to kick a couple of goals late after having a big patch without goals, but they do manage to kick a couple of goals late just to take the pressure off them and still in a top 4 double chance spot. Dan Hanbury, 30 disposals in his final game. Max King, 5 goals, 139 fantasy for Steele, 9 tackles for Steele as well. That's one of Hanbury's best games. Dean Ken also came on and played a little bit for St Kilda as the medical substitute as well. 139 fantasy for Steele, 134 for Long, 107 for Hanbury, 104 for Rowbottom, 100 for Heaney. Goals behinds. 5 for King. He was what kept St Kilda in the game. And with King, he has weeks where he's on and also off. Again, last week against Brisbane, didn't have his great game, but this week 5 goals. They could have easily been like 1 goal 4 or 2 goals 3, which again probably would have meant he's their real avenue in the forward line. 3 goals for Hayward, 2 for Heaney, 2 for Franklin, 2 for McDonald as well. He was the only multiple Saints goal scorer as well, which can be a bit of a worry. 30 disposals for Dan Hanbury, 29 for Ross, 27 for Sinclair, Steele and Long, all Saints players. 17 marks for Long, that's a big number. That is a massive number. 10 marks for Steele, 9 for Howard and Lena as well. Tackles, 9 for Steele, 7 for Rowbottom, 6 for Butler and Hanbury. Hit-outs now, 24 for Hickey, 21 for Marshall, 17 for Campbell, 4 for Reid. Now to the team stats we go, where it was a really interesting contest. The Swans went inside 51 one more time than the Saints, 51-52, and it was a very interesting contest as well. The Saints, they were always in this one, but And actually, centre clearances 16-6 in favour of St Kilda. They did really test Sydney in the end, did St Kilda, but Sydney got them around stoppage 20-25 in favour of the Swans. Now to the marks, where St Kilda 121-84 took way more marks than Sydney in the end. Sydney led for most of the game. In the end, were definitely deserving winners. They did build out to a good lead and managed to survive a Saints scare late in the last quarter. But they do bring it home, Sydney, and they do get a top 4 spot. Alright, so all the results from a jam-packed round 23. Melbourne smashed the Lions by 58 points. The Dockers got over the Giants by 20. The Suns smashed the Roos by 67. The Cats smashed the Eagles by 85. The Tigers smashed the Bombers by 66. Port Adelaide smashed the Crows by 56. The Dogs got over the Hawks by 23. The Pies got over the Blues in a nail-biter by 1 singular point. And then the Swans get over the Saints by 14 points. So what does this mean for the ladder? Of course, now the Cats, they sit first, clear top. They will host Collingwood in a preliminary final. A qualifying final. Sorry about that. Qualifying final for Geelong and Collingwood. Melbourne and Sydney will also meet in another qualifying final as well. Fremantle and the Western Bulldogs will meet in an elimination final at Optus. And Brisbane and Richmond will go head-to-head in another elimination final at the Gabba. Alright, so Charlie Curnow will finish as the Coleman medal. The Brownlow medal could go down to Neil v Brayshaw, v Oliver pretty much, so v Miller. There's lots of players that can win the Brownlow, so that's going to be a good race. But Curnow has won the Coleman medal. He finished 4 goals ahead of Lynch, 5 goals ahead of Hawkins and Cameron. So that is how it finishes. Can you believe that round 23 has come to a close just like that? And that is how it finishes, with poor Carlton missing out on the top 8 by 0.6% in the end. The Dogs got through. Crazy stuff. And now we are waiting on the finals week 1 fixture, whenever that'll drop, to see who'll be playing on Friday night, where they include Thursday night, Saturday night, Sunday arvo, Saturday arvo, many different time slots that these finals could be played in. But what we do know is that it was a jam-packed round of footy. So I did just go ahead and fix up. Of course, I accidentally put preliminary final, but it is meant to be qualifying final here. So this is the finals fixture as it currently lays. Geelong and Collingwood in a qualifying final. Melbourne and Sydney in a qualifying final. Fremantle and Western Bulldogs in an elimination final. And then Brisbane and Richmond in an elimination final. Alright, so a massive Sunday of games ends like that. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Sending you guys another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.